You can interview him.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Sam Fanelli, and a few years ago we started a little company called Pine Grove Homes.
And what year did you start it?
1982.
And what was the dream back in 1982?
The dream was a bunch of guys that didn't know any better, that thought they could get into make the switch from the retail operations into the manufacturing end of it. Yeah, that was the dream.
And what would you say your proudest accomplishment is in this?
Probably that we've lasted as long as we have, which is I think we're going on 35 or 36 years, which is a long time in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the folks that have come and gone, and I think the other thing is that I think we've developed a lot of good relationships with people for a lot of years.
Yeah.
A mutual respect type of thing where we did what we could for them and they did what they could do for us, and it's worked well for everybody.
That's one of the reasons why I've been with you guys for 16 years.
Yeah.
Started 16 years ago and never looked back. It's
Because the reality of it is that it only, whether you're talking about our company or you're talking about a relationship with a neighbor, or whatever, it only works if it works for both sides.
right.
It's
That's right.
once the point it becomes lopsided, you're starting on the downhill slide.
right.
Yeah.
So why'd you pick this location?
We were just coming out of a pretty bad recession there in the early 80s, and there was a couple facilities out here that were empty, and there were a couple of folks that had been in management in these facilities that had an interest in doing something, and that's the reason, because it's 250 miles from our retail operations.
So you're originally from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, yeah, Pittsburgh area, yes. So if we were just going to build one, I guess it would have been in Clarion or out that way.
Right.
But, they were available, and we had some people that thought they could run it, and we thought they could run it, and so we made a deal and started.
So you started with Pine Grove?
Yes.
And when did Pleasant Valley become part of?
We started Pleasant Valley separately in 2004 when the mod business started to pick up, and we were at max production on that plant, and we really we could build modulars there, but it really wasn't designed to build modulars there.
So can you explain the difference between Pine Grove and Pleasant Valley?
Pine Grove was designed and was basically produced HUD-code product, which was singles and HUD-coated sectionals. This plant was designed to do primarily modulars. I mean, when it was designed, there was no intention really to build HUD-code here. And then, of course, a thing called a flood came.
What year was that?
That was 2011, September 2011.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And, at that point, I mean, that was the last of we were trying to count them up earlier today. I think that was the last and by far the worst of 6 or 7.
6 or 7 floods?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every
Okay.
one of them that got proceedingly worse.
Wow.
And
That was as a result of Tropical Storm Lee.
Yeah, that last one
That
was.
last
Yeah,
one.
I think so. Yeah, and we had put pumps in, huge pumping facility over there, and built the embankment up, and did a number of things, but the last one just came up over top of everybody, and one of the things that happened there, as most people don't know, is guys manning the pumps. We almost hi there. We almost had a couple guys didn't get out of there because it came up so quick.
Oh.
And then the insurance became a factor too,
Right.
because you could get a certain amount of federal coverage, but you couldn't get enough for the rest of it.
So Pine Grove, the original facility is just down the road from here, and we're
Yes.
in Pine Grove, Pennsylvania?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And now you're doing both,
Yes.
all the kinds of houses in the same location?
Yes.
I mean, once you came over here, the HUD code product, I think, got even better than it was before from where you were in
Yeah,
the first location.
because what happened is that the time and effort that was being placed in the mod, which as a general rule was a higher priced product, just went over onto the HUD side.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the history you can tell us about Pine Grove or Pleasant Valley?
Yeah, just that it kind of evolved, Maria. It took on a life of its own, where sometimes we were just talking about that today. Is that you just kind of let the market lead you to where you end up at, and instead of trying to fight it every inch of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that happened is we became more and more involved in it after the initial year or so, and then at the point that Wayne came out here, we kind of became completely in charge of day-to-day operations, which was not the original intention. The original intention was, we were very happy at retail, right? We were selling 800-900 houses a year.
Wow.
All over Western PA and surrounding states. We were really happy with that, and we just kind of thought, well, we'll invest a little money with these guys, and they'll be able to run it. They told us they could run it. About 6 months into that turned out not to be the case, and then we kind of took over the leadership of it, still with general managers in place, and then when Wayne came out, we expanded Pine Grove when he came out, shortly after he came out. That allowed us to do more things in the way of options and increase production. And we kind of continued to upgrade the product to where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you would ask me in 1982, were we going to be out here running this place? The answer was no. You know what? Those guys will be running it.
So Wayne came out to be the president?
Wayne came out as the general manager,
Okay.
and then a couple of years later, he became the president. And
what's your position? You're kind of behind the scenes, or?
yeah, I'm just the old guy. In that I guess the official title is chairman of the board, but we've got some really, really good people. And then Lee came out. Wayne's brother Lee came out in 2004 or 5, I want to say. And took over, eventually became responsible for the production end of it. So
So there seems to be a Fanelli value. What would you say that is?
I guess that the thing is that we've been on both sides of the dealer manufacturing end of it, and when a situation happens, and situations do happen, you try to put yourself in both people's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Here you see, for instance, if you had a problem in New Jersey, that you try to look at it and say, how is Marie and Robert, how are they looking at this problem? How does this look at from their end?
Right.
Rather than if they haven't had that exposure to both sides, there's a tendency to just see it from one side.
Right.
And the other thing that I've found through the years is that usually doing the right thing, it's not only morally the best thing, it's also business-wise and financially. It usually, in almost all cases, and it's the easiest.
Right.
You know, if you can, you just try to find out what you need to resolve whatever thing comes up, and again, to see it from both sides, because there's not very many things that are black and white. You know, like if there's an issue with us and John Doe, it's not usually a case where we're 100% right or 100% wrong and vice versa. There's usually an area in there, there's usually that gray area.
Alrighty.
Very good.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
I've never had that happen before.
Very good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.